Okay, without further ado, let's put a hand and welcome Victor. Okay, he'll be sharing with you some fundamentals, the forex and hedging, as well as covering the outlook for the week.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope you have taken your dinner. Okay, this is going to be a weekly session. So you can see, once a dealer, always a dealer. Okay, I started out my career as a dealer, so we'll continue to deal until I cannot deal anymore. All right, and I will share this twice weekly if I can. But Wednesday is for sure, Sunday more or less. Now, I will normally share two ideas for the week, whether it's Wednesday or whether it's Sunday. All right, so that you have some ideas what to do. Okay, now, for example, next week, the main event, or I put there the marquee event of the week, is your RBA decision. Okay, so the RBA meeting, for those of you who are trading foreign exchange, is very important next week because it will, of course, determine the direction of the Aussie dollars. Okay, now, it's very highly anticipated, and it will show whether the central bank is desperate in view of the COVID infections ravaging the country. Now, as you all know, Australia is in the midst of another surge in infection in Sydney, in Victoria, now in Brisbane. So it's quite terrible, all right? They have lockdowns all over the country. And that lockdown will eventually affect Australia's GDP growth. So we expect the central bank to put its tapering decision on ice until the COVID situation improves. Now, what is tapering? Tapering is, if you all have traded before, those of you who have not traded, don't worry. All right, you will know, I will explain to you. QE means quantitative easing, means the central bank is pumping money into the system. So when the central bank pumps money into the system, it will have more money, and therefore it will keep interest rates low. Australia was supposed to take off that QE, which means tapering. They were supposed to take off the quantitative easing very soon, and it was going to be decided this coming Tuesday. But because of the COVID, I think they are going to say we will not take off the QE yet. We still need to support the economy. Therefore, we will leave the tapering aside for a while until the COVID situation improves. Now, don't forget, Sydney is going to be in lockdown until end of this month, end of August, which means it's quite terrible. That means your growth will definitely be affected. So therefore, many participants, of course, including myself, we see the RBA putting interest rate decision on hold because the lockdown simply means GDP will slow dramatically in the third quarter. That means from July to September, growth will be very slow and job losses will increase. As you know, when you have a lockdown, the employers of businesses will cut headcount, will cut jobs. So therefore, the job losses will mount quite a lot. And that means also will slow the GDP further. So I believe that the RBA is going to be very, very cautious when they decide on rates on Tuesday, all right, which will keep the Aussie on the defensive. That means either you can sell Aussie US or you can sell Aussie New Zealand. That is the way to go, okay? Or some of you who have traded may want to buy Euro against Aussie, right? Because Euro, although Euro is not as strong as it should be, but it is stronger than the Aussie. So anything that is Aussie related, or you sell Aussie yen, all right, which is also not a bad cross to go. But what I'm putting here is just to say you sell Aussie or you sell Aussie New Zealand. Preferably, personally, for myself, I like to sell Aussie New Zealand because they are very close cousins, all right? Because Australia and New Zealand are in the same vicinity. But because New Zealand is going to increase interest rates very soon, while Australia is not going to do so, means the New Zealand against the Aussie, New Zealand will strengthen more. So therefore, you sell Aussie against New Zealand. Okay. Now the rate is about 105.30. All right. I will tell you more about the chat group later on. So if you had been in that chat group of mine, you would have sold around 105.90 or 106. So you would have made some money, all right? That was just a few days ago. And now it's about 60, 70 points lower. Okay. Another negative for the Aussie has been that traditionally, August has not been a good month for Aussie. Now, if you have traded foreign exchange long enough, like I do, all right? I started my career in 1984 as a dealer, and then I became a treasury manager. Then I went to private banking, and then I went to foreign exchange strategies and analysts, all right? So doing that, we have seen that many years, decades actually, August has not been good for Aussie. And now it's even worse because now it's August and Aussie has this interest rate decision, which they're going to be very cautious about because of COVID. So I think this month, there is a good chance Aussie will go down a little bit more, right? From where it is right now. But after saying all that, you can, over the next few weeks, sell Aussie. But once all this is over, come the end of August or early September, the market will be looking to buy back Aussie. All right, but that one will as we come, I will tell you roughly where it's going to start. Because I am not very fond of US dollars at this point in time, right? Because I think it's going to go down, but at the present moment, it's very choppy, but it will remain weak, all right, over time. All right, so over the next 1 to 2 days until Tuesday, it's going to be very exciting because you're going to see people trying to put on positions in Aussie. So therefore, putting on an Aussie short, right, against New Zealand is probably a good idea because there is still some way to go, all right, for that cross. Okay, so this is the RBA decision, all right, next week. So we're going to have a lot of fun over the next 2 to 3 days. Now, next. Will the yellow metal shine? Okay. Gold broke above the $18.15 level. Okay. 1,815 level resistance on Friday. But unfortunately, it was unable to take out resistance at 1832. All right. They tried, they cannot bring it. So it ended the week below its breakout, about 1813. All right, so because why? Traders preferred to square off for the weekend. So they took profit, they square off just in case market becomes a bit funny over the weekend, because sometimes you have news that come out that will impact currencies or gold or any of the asset classes. All right, so many dealers prefer to square off for the weekend. But sometimes, I will speak about it more, people do tend to take what you call a strategic position. They may take half their position to put into longer term trades to generate better revenues or better profits. All right, that one we can talk about it some other time. All right. Now, we believe, or rather I believe, the yellow metal will make another foray to the upside. Okay, and this especially if the US dollar weakens, given that gold is priced in US dollars. All right. And the reason why I say US dollar is going to weaken over time is simply this. The Biden administration, of course, is pumping so much projects, so-called fiscal policy. They're pumping infrastructure deals, and all that requires a lot of money. Okay. And unfortunately for the US style, this is US, this is not Singapore, or this is not some other countries. But the US, when they do infrastructure deals or projects or fiscal policy, they will always oppose funding it via taxes. US does not like to pay taxes. That's the biggest problem. All right. So you have all the billionaires in the US, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, all the who is that? Tim Cook, Apple. They're all paying minimal taxes. So how you want to fund your country? All right. Your tax regime allows you to go and circumvent, so-called, I don't like to use the word circumvent, but they have so many accountants, right? Tax accountant, they claim this, they claim that, they claim this, they claim that. Eventually they pay nothing, almost. So how can the country fund all this? They fund all this by printing more money, by borrowing more money. All right. So how do they print money? When you borrow, means you issue bonds. All right. So you issue bonds. So when you issue bonds, people buy your bonds. All right. So you are in debt. So when you're in debt, eventually you have to pay your debt. Right? So the US budget deficit or the US debt is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that will pull the dollars lower and lower and lower. That's why dollar upside, it's going to be very, very limited. The downside is a lot. All right. As you join this group or as you follow this group, I will roughly give you an idea when to get into the US dollars for a little bit of a longer term move where you can earn like 5 or 10% of your positions. All right. 5 or 10% is a lot, okay, my friends. So if you have a one lot position, one lot is 100K position, 5 or 10% means $5,000 or $10,000 profit, right? That one can be seen over the next 3 to 6 months. You can see that. Of course, if you follow this group, you don't follow this group, of course, you will miss a lot of things. Therefore, at the present moment, because I still see the gold going up, you can buy dips, all right? Tomorrow it starts. Anyway, 1805 is a good buy. I think over the next little while, the only danger is this Friday is a US employment data. So if it comes out strong, dollar may go up, gold may go down. But another way to look at it is because the number that they are looking for, the employment number is so high, 926,000, all right? It's a very high ceiling, okay? So that means the number must come out above 926,000 jobs created in July for the dollar to move higher. But if it doesn't, the dollar will move lower, all right? So there is a very high chance that it may underperform, which means gold may even go higher. I think my target next few weeks or next couple of weeks, or even this week, depending on how the market moves, all right? Don't forget the market is very dynamic, so I cannot give you one number like that. But I think we can aim for about 1850, 1854, which is about 2.5% for move up in gold, all right, over the next little while. Okay, right. So I finished my presentation here. Any questions before we continue?